Hi guys, welcome today to Luxury Presence, Building Your Presence. Today we're going to cover creating a compelling real estate brand. So thank you everyone for joining us. And depending on where you are, hopefully you guys are safe and dry. I am outside of Los Angeles and there is a blizzard warning in effect, which is wild. I also saw that in Wyoming, there's going to be 4 feet of snow today, which is also equally as crazy. My name is Brandon Matthews. I am a product marketing manager here at Luxury Presence. Excited to cover branding with you today. And then co-hosting with me today is Michaela, who is our director of design here at LP and also our resident branding expert. So Michaela, can you go ahead and say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be a host of this wonderful webinar today. Would you like me to give the background in depth?
So just a few quick housekeeping items. So we are going to record this session. So we will definitely be sending out that recording in a few hours after this is over. We also just finished up creating a branding worksheet for real estate agents. Michaela and her team did a wonderful job on that. That will be included in the follow-up email as well. So there are some action items that every agent, depending on where you are in your branding journey, can go ahead and implement in your business. And then last but not least, we will have about 5 to 10 minutes towards the end of the session for Q&A. So you can either input your questions on Zoom's Q&A feature throughout the conversation, or if you'd prefer to wait until the end, you could raise your hand. We could bring you up on stage and you can go ahead and ask your question then. So that is it. And then, so we are going to rapid fire through a few questions for Michaela. Michaela, can you give us a quick professional background?
Of course. So my background is in strategy and brand development. As a branding expert, I work closely with luxury resorts and brands, startup unicorns like Wise, Skype, or Notion, and even for Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft. Today, I lead the brand and marketing team at Luxury Presence. My goal is to help position companies for success, and I do that by crafting memorable narratives and building scalable brands that help to turn audiences into loyal communities.
That's awesome. And I know in your free time, you are writing articles about branding. You are constantly studying the craft. I'm just curious, what got you so passionate about branding, and maybe when did you become so passionate about it?
I think initially I was drawn to the nice things like logos, pictures, and colors. What kept me interested is the fact that branding lies exactly at the intersection of storytelling, data, and creativity. It's a very strategic and nuanced art that results in creating an important value, generating asset, which is your or a business's new unique identity. So I think that's what drew me into it.
Awesome. And then so for some of us on this call and for everyone, to be honest, brand can be a vague term. When you think about brand, what is a brand? And especially, why do you think it's important in the real estate industry?
Very good question. So to quote Jeff Bezos, I would say that a brand is what others say about you when you are not in the room. So as you can imagine, it's much more than just visual elements like logos, business cards, or a color scheme. It's essentially every interaction a client has with your business, from the tone of your written communication to the quality of your customer service. And why it's important. So branding can help establish credibility and trust with your clients. It also shows a commitment to providing a quality service and delivering on your promises by being consistent in your actions and in your visuals. And it can also serve as a way to build a loyal client base, as satisfied clients are more likely to refer you to others.
Awesome. And you touched on something. So brand is more than a logo. It's sort of more than your color scheme. There are tens of hundreds of thousands of agents across this country. everyone's in their local market. It's very crowded and very competitive. How do you identify your unique brand proposition and sort of stand out in a crowded market?
So there are a few exercises you can do to identify what sets you apart from your competitors and to really stand out in a crowded market. So one of the exercises I like to do is a SWOT analysis. Maybe you've heard of that. So basically, you look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the SWOT. This will help you discover the overlap between your unfair advantage, what you're good at, and actions you can take. I think that one step that many real estate agents skip is seriously evaluating their competition while drafting their positioning. So, people understand what's new and different by comparing it to something they already know. So being aware of the competitors in your market and how they communicate can help you build a proposition that is very authentic to yourself and differentiated from others as well.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And in terms of creating a successful real estate brand, what do you think are the most important or the most key elements in doing that?
Yeah, so as we said, it's much more than just your visuals, although those are very important. So I would say that the first thing is your unique value proposition, your values, what you stand for, basically, your personality, then tone of voice and the messaging. So how you speak and how do you present yourself through it and communication, and also the visual touch points that help you communicate your message across all formats and platforms.
Got it. Okay. And then, as real estate agents, there are many disciplines that they're expected to learn, ranging from sales to operations to marketing. Now we're introducing branding. It's sort of a lot to take on, and just understanding the basics of it, maybe figuring out some easy mistakes that we can avoid would be helpful. What are some of the common branding mistakes that real estate agents can avoid?
So I think that one of the most common one is not having a clear brand message. The other one is not being consistent in how they communicate across all of their channels, and then not working on an online presence. So I think that ensuring consistency and clear brand message can be resolved by having a comprehensive brand guidebook. And it's essentially a reference manual that helps to ensure that your brand is presented consistently and accurately to the public. So that is one way of how that can be avoided, basically.
Got it. And maybe we can include an example of a brand guideline book when we send out our email, just for those folks who haven't seen exactly what it looks like. But I know us at LP, it's almost like our branding Bible, if you will. Everything, related to our brand is encompassed in that. It's great for new hires. It's great for, people that are joining your business. One of the things you touched on, consistency. We are, as consumers, we're very quick to dispel things where if we go to a website and it looks a certain way, but then we go to their social handle, it looks different. That might look different from a digital mailer that we're receiving through direct mail. So we want to make sure that we're staying consistent across all channels. How can, aside from having brand guidelines, how can agents ensure that their branding maintains top level consistency across all channels?
So I think that a brand Bible, a brand guideline is one of the best ways of how to do that. Making sure that it's really simple to use, that it's distributed, in your team, and that you're referencing it constantly as you're working on your asset can help to ensure that top level consistency. And then having templates. So once you kind of figure out your visual language, then building out that visual language and templatizing what you can also help you, one, streamline your workflow and save some time, and also stay consistent as you grow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, not only do templates end up saving you time, but they also end up keeping consistency across all channels. That's a good call out. So as humans, since the beginning of time, we have always gravitated towards storytelling, right? Even in a 30-second Super Bowl commercial, we have a clear beginning, middle, and an end. There's something about storytelling that just resonates with us. How important do you think storytelling is in real estate branding? And then just to build on that, what are maybe some tips that agents can use to tell a very compelling story?
Sure. Storytelling. So basically, storytelling can help to connect with potential clients on a very, very personal level. And also it can help you differentiate yourself from others, because by using storytelling and sharing stories that are relatable, you are showing your authentic self on the social media. So, and also when people are buying or selling a home, they want to work with someone they can trust. And again, storytelling is a powerful tool for building that trust and establishing credibility. And how to use it. So you can share, for example, real life stories of how you have helped your clients in the past. You can add specific details and anecdotes to make your story more compelling. So for example, instead of saying, I help people find their dream home, say, I helped a family with 3 kids find a spacious 4-bedroom home with a backyard in their preferred school district. That makes the story instantly more relatable. And it also helps to create a picture in the mind of your other potential customers, to create that connection.
Yeah, and I think to add to that too, right? There's also the aspect of storytelling where we need to focus on our craft and focus on our business, and it's related to real estate. And then I think what a lot of amazing real estate brands are doing also is really showing off like their personal characteristics. So maybe 10% of the time, 15% of the time, we're showing, whatever your hobbies or your interests are. And I think by doing that, people can connect with you, or if somebody is looking to sell or buy a home in your area, and they can kind of get a sense of who you are without, before even that first real touch point. I think that could also benefit an agent's branding as well. So going back to competition, what do you think are we kind of look at a level playing field, and everyone's comparing themselves to other brands, but what are some effective ways that we can use to differentiate our brand from competitors?
So a brand needs to accurately reflect your unique qualities and values. So, and this can be challenging as many business owners struggle to define what sets them apart. And, we see that even with the real estate agents we work with. So to develop your unique brand identity, I suggest clarifying and asking them a few questions like, what values and principles guide your business? What is my authentic voice and personality? So how do I show up? Am I more expressive and bubbly, or am I more sophisticated and laid back? So the third thing is asking, who is your target audience? So specifically knowing your niche and your market, and then what sets you apart from your competitors. So there are certain nuances that do make you different from others, whether that's your approach. It can be also the type of homes that you're selling, or maybe it can be something about just the way you present yourself. So those are the 4 things I would suggest clarifying. And then I think that can help to build a really authentic brand.
Got it. Thank you. And, we should probably also caveated this at the top of the call, but building a brand is something that definitely doesn't happen overnight, right? We're talking, to be honest, we're talking years and years of brand building. And, sometimes it could be a little bit discouraging. We're just starting out in our careers, or maybe we're 3 years in and we've kind of hit a plateau. And, you know, it's also easy to sometimes get caught in vanity metrics where it's like, oh my gosh, you know, this real estate agent has 300,000 followers and I have 44. You know, that is not as important as starting to build the brand of your dreams today. One of the things I want to ask you, Michaela, is how can agents build that brand loyalty and cultivate kind of a strong following amongst their clients and prospects and people that are in their local market?
Yeah, very good question. So I think, and we said it at the beginning as well, but consistency is the thing that can help you build that. Then from a more action-oriented standpoint, building your email list and focusing on building your social media presence and being present there are another great ways of how to cultivate a strong following. So you can, by creating and distributing free content, you can effectively start adding more people to your list, because you're sharing a free value that is interesting for them. It might be very time consuming and overwhelming, but you know, the key of creating a content consistently is having a repeatable format that helps with that consistency. Again, you know, I would say that the magic of branding or like building any communication channel is truly to finding a way that works for you and then fine-tuning it so that it's very easy for you to make it consistently.
That's right. Yeah, because creating content is not easy. It is very time consuming, but it is more or less absolute necessary. One of the things that we can do when we are creating content is thinking about how we can repurpose that content across different channels, making sure that, you know, we might slightly tweak the language on LinkedIn versus Instagram, which is slightly less formal. But once we do have that content, it's definitely, you've done the hard work. Now it's time to promote it, redistribute it. If you see something getting more engagement than other things, go ahead and put it back into you know, your content schedule and, you know, repost that. There's obviously reasons why it was engaging in the first place. Okay, so next question. What would you say are some effective strategies for promoting your brand to prospects and potential clients, as well as folks that are already your clients or customers?
Yeah, so I would say use social media if possible to share your brand story, to showcase your expertise, and to build those relationships with your potential clients, even before they are ready to sell or to buy. Being there and being there consistently just helps to you know, be the number one choice for them. And then you can also consider running paid advertising campaigns on social media to reach a larger audience. Newsletters, on the other hand, can, you know, is another great way to create a content to promote your brand.
Yep. So what I'm hearing is more content, which
a lot of
in
work.
fact is the truth. Okay. And then how do you think agents can leverage their personal brand? You know, what we're seeing a lot recently, and something that we believe in LP is like the future of real estate does in fact belong to agents, right? So how can agents leverage their personal brand to kind of enhance their overall brand image and reputation as well?
Yeah, so a personal brand can be an amazing basis for your business because it helps to make your business brand more relatable, it adds trust, and it also meaningfully differentiates you from the competitors because there is only one of you. So take Jade Mills, for example, which maybe you've heard of. So Jade Mills is a Beverly Hills based real estate agent, and we've recently helped to refresh her brand identity and website. The goal was to create a clean and elegant look while adding a touch of warmth and personality. So Jade also uses a signature luxury brand. Jade became a signature luxury brand on its own, thanks to her great reputation and a consistent image captured both online and offline, which helps to differentiate her from others and to create that brand image.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually reminds, I'm probably butchering the quote. It's Warren Buffett, I believe, and it's something along the lines of, it takes 20 years to build up your reputation and 10 minutes to tear it down. So we have to keep, we've got to keep our A game on all the time, right? So it takes a long time, and it takes many touch points to build the trust of somebody that's willing to do a huge transaction with you, and it's a very personal decision. When we talk about brand, a lot of folks will be quick to say, oh, it's hard to measure brand, like we don't want to invest in brand because we can't necessarily pinpoint the ROI of it. With that said, how do you think agents can kind of take into consideration customer feedback that they've received, and also use data to kind of refine their brand and build their brand over time?
Yeah, so to help you measure the effectiveness of your branding efforts, you can monitor leading and lagging indicators. So leading indicators are awareness, familiarity, loyalty, the number of referrals that you're getting. And then the lagging indicators are your social media following, your Google rating, your website leads, or paid media performance. So those are the two areas that I would suggest focusing on.
Got it. And okay, so that kind of ties into the next question. So key metrics to track when measuring the success. We've touched on that. And it also, maybe we can do a little bit of digging, but I bet there's probably some pre-built templates out there that instead of, you could almost just monitor on a month-over-month basis from a very high level, just to kind of, make sure that you're trending in the right direction. And if you happen to not be, it does give you some indication to kind of go back to the drawing board and perhaps figure out, what might be missing the mark. Okay, so as agents, also as us as marketers and designers, we have a target audience or a target demographic that kind of fits our ideal customer profile. As much as we'd love to sell, starter homes to families and high-end luxury to people in their 50s and 60s, a lot of times it makes more sense to kind of focus on one ideal customer profile. With that said, how can agents kind of effectively target, their branding to specific demographics, such as maybe millennials or baby boomers, or specific customer profiles?
Yeah, so you need to speak and be where your target audience is, right? So tailoring your key brand messages and using them, using the right communication channels might help you target the right audience at the right time. So that's a very high level answer, but
yeah. And there's also, depending too on whether or not you have a CRM as an agent or not, there can also be some segmentation done within a platform like a CRM, where if we want to, let's say we have a new listing and it fits a better target audience, we can use segmentation to go ahead and push out that new listing to the folks that it'll resonate better with. Okay, so that kind of concludes like the meaty portion of branding in regards to real estate. And now I just wanted to zoom out a little bit. And as we end this call today in 10, 15 minutes and we go about our day, maybe look at brands in a different light, whether you're going to the grocery store or whether you're driving around town. Try to pick out some brands and see what you think makes them unique, or what sticks out about them. And Michaela, I know you've studied hundreds, if not thousands, of brands, and I was wondering, what are a few of your favorite lesser known brands? Doesn't necessarily have to be in real estate. Maybe it is. And then also just like building on that, what attracts you to them and what appeals about those brands?
Yeah, I love this question. So I have a few in my mind. So the first one is All Right. It's called All Right. So All Right is a fine jewelry brand born and raised in New York. And their identity, what I love about them is that their identity is telling their story in a modern, more evocative way. So they use very bold colors, distinctive, very charming photography, and sophisticated thin frames, because small, tiny graphical elements that they use consistently on the website, packaging campaigns. So it's instantly recognizable, and then you can always tell that that's an All Right piece. The second one would be Seed. Seed is a sustainable subscription-based probiotic business. Its identity is doing an amazing job of matching their science-based ethos, which is very, they're very precise, clear, and the whole identity is very typography based. So Aurate is AURATE, and then Seed SEED.
Yeah, I can drop them. I
Yeah,
could drop
please
them in the
do.
chat really
Please do.
quick. So and if you want to keep going, Michaela, please
Sure.
do.
And so that the typography base and just like the clarity, the precision, it just sweeps through the educational content they're creating. Anyway, what is really, really cool about Seed specifically is their social media presence. I do encourage you just to go and look through their social media, especially Instagram. It's super polished, it's very engaging, and their educational content is on point, while also being funny. And yeah, their product is amazing too. And then Polestar, that is I think a known brand, but I just love how they look. So Polestar is a company, is a car company, and it was made by people with an absolute obsession for refining every detail. Polestar actually won a prestigious Red Dot Design Award for their identity, but that's not the only reason why I adore it. The pure minimalism in the typography and color scheme is right in my alley as a designer and minimalist by heart. They have very progressive and scientific outlook, and again, a very like almost like scientific, precise look and feel is apparent everywhere, to the smallest detail, texture, or their app. So
Yeah,
absolutely love these three brands.
yeah. And we have a couple of questions that are just coming in, and we'll get to those in a couple minutes. One thing I'm curious about, Michaela. So, at Luxury Presence, we just went through a full rebrand, maybe a little less than a year ago. For any agents on the call, and maybe it's helpful, maybe it's not quite as helpful. But Michaela, when in your eyes, when do you think it becomes like apparent, like, oh, I might need to rebrand, or maybe I'm an agent and I had a logo created 15 years ago and I'm not happy with it. I guess, at a high level, when do you think it's necessary to rebrand, and why would someone do that?
It's a very good question. So I would say a reason to rebrand, there are a few. If you feel like you've outgrown yourself or your business, so maybe you've changed the market or your niche, or maybe the brand that you have right now doesn't reflect yourself. We as people, but also businesses grow and change with time. So it's important to just reflect on what is authentic to us, and to be able then to translate to a brand identity. So there are, again, two reasons I would say why to rebrand. One, business oriented or like market oriented, and is it still relevant for the people that I want to target, and is it differentiated within that market? And the other one, it might be not authentic for myself. I've changed, and I want something that truly reflects my new values or personality.
Awesome. That is very helpful. Okay, cool. So let's jump into Q&A. Like I mentioned before, we see some questions coming through. Keep asking through Q&A. You could also raise your hand. We could bring you up. But I'll go ahead and read them, Michaela, and then I could also help answer them if as need be. So first question from Andrea. Do you have a content calendar that you could share and ideas of what to post?
Interesting question. We don't have anything similar ready yet, but I'm sure that we can work with the team and prepare some downloadable content shareable for
Yeah,
the
definitely.
community.
So we don't necessarily have anything with our LP branding on it. We obviously have internal content calendars that we use. But Andrea, what I'll do is just kind of we could follow up. There are tons and tons of templates out there, all very easy to use. Most of them, for example, can be in a Google Sheet, so they're free, and you can kind of keep track of ideas and what to post. I've also seen some agents that follow like a strict regimen of certain types of content that they're posting. So I can also include that as well, because I think it is helpful to, like I said, include a slice about hobbies and interests so people can get a feel for who you are. Make sure you're including market reports, things of that nature. So we can definitely follow up with you on that. Next question. I think I saw this come through the chat as well. So this is probably a little bit of an open-ended, opinionated question, but this is from Ryan, and it says, what would your top fonts be for luxury, especially in kind of headers and bodies on the page?
So that's a very subjective question, I would say, but generally, what really seems to work well for luxury brands is serif font. So more sophisticated serif fonts for the header copy or for headlines, and then using a more simple, minimal sans serif font that kind of just helps to establish that legibility, and then balance on the website can be a very good choice. I've seen that a few of the new modern luxury brands that are usually direct to consumer do use that in reverse, which is really interesting because they're playing of the vibe, we are a new kid on the block. So that can be also interesting, but I would have certain concerns about the legibility of the font, and specifically the more nuanced serif ones.
Yeah, is font something that you can kind of test, Michaela, as far as let's say you want to test out a font on your website, or do you do all of the legwork and the homework prior to that to make sure that maybe you have friends and family check it out and it's hey, this is hard to read? I'm curious about that selection, because it does play an important role in your website.
Yeah, for sure. So usually when I'm picking a font for a client or for a brand, I do try to tie it as much to their personality and their overall look and feel as possible. And then we do testing to ensure that it's well, legible on all of those touch points, especially in print and also in digital. Because there are some fonts that do look great in digital space, but then don't look good in print. So we do test those. And then you can easily also test them on some of the websites to have a window where you can type any text, increase or decrease the size, and it will render it for you before needing to purchase the font.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. And that kind of segue. So this isn't necessarily a question, but Olga says templates would be very helpful. Thank you in advance. So we will definitely include a handful of resources in the follow-up email. I think there's some good stuff that you can use in your business today. Okay, great. So next question is from Jillian. My brand is just starting to come together with my LP website. I like the direction. I don't have a logo and honestly don't see the need for one. People's logos tend to feel dated. Why do you think logo is still important with new media? rather than kind of like the old paper-based world?
So essentially, you still need to use your logo. Your logo, I wouldn't say the logo is the most important asset, but it still helps to be that, like an anchor point for all of your social media and all of your touch points that you have. Using you don't need to, if you don't want to, invest into a full-fledged logo, but at least using a font or typing out your name consistently will help you, maybe other designers or other people that will work eventually with your brand, to just ensure that it always looks the same. Because what we are trying to, again, like, logo is not an important asset, the consistency is. And by having an asset, having a logo, can help you drive that forward.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So coming from Kathleen, this is obviously, I'm sure many people on this call are associated with a team or a brokerage, which obviously limits kind of the personal branding ability for that agent. Michaela, I know we've kind of recently released some brokerage solutions and tools. I'm curious what your opinions are on, kind of balancing that fine line between, am I able to build my personal brand while I'm at the brokerage? Or, how would an agent necessarily go about the strategy of juggling those two?
It's a very good question. So I recently we've seen a lot of agents trying to build up their brand. So there are a few things. One, I think it's very important for an agent to build their personal brand, even though they are a part of a brokerage. Just helps, again, to build that trust with your end customer. A brokerage helps with that high level, but then at the end of the day, the people will be interacting with yourself. So building your personal brand is really important. And we've seen even internally, so we've been working on a few brand identities for our clients, and we've been able to manage and create a nice balance between having a really differentiated, authentic brand, while on the other side we've had the logo of the brokerage. So we can still, a personal brand can still live within, can still be a useful asset even though you're a part of a brokerage.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. We have about 5 minutes left, and we have 5 or 6 questions, so let's jam through these. I can take this one from Sedona. When clients favorite or like properties on the website, is that information automatically connected to my CRM? So without knowing exactly, how it functions with every CRM, the short answer to that question is yes. So basically what will happen is you have a tracking code that's installed on your website that will feed information into your CRM, like website behavior. So if somebody visits a page, if somebody likes something, you will have those data points in your CRM. Okay, so next question is from Sharon. What is the best place to get a logo or brand assistance? I'm very particular and picky and have not been able to kind of settle on a personal logo or a brand for me.
So there are a few ways of how you can go about it. So there are these like design services like Fiverr, where you can hire a designer to design a logo for you or an identity. It's a very low cost way to do that. Then there are branding experts, freelance branding experts and agencies that, again, you can hire. They will go through the whole process with you. If they're good and established, they will also have a strategy-driven process that will help to align your vision with what's best for your brand long term. So meaning they will help you create a brand that is differentiated and speaks to your customers. And then also, I know that we've released some branding services. So Brandon, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so that kind of ties or segues nicely. So we did just release branding services at Luxury Presence. So whether and it ranges, we have a couple different tiers ranging from fully customized, you work with us from a blank slate until your final brand. And then we have some more also customized and various design packages. So that we can include a link to that if anyone's curious. If you guys want to check it out or do need help with branding, that is definitely something that we're here to help with. Okay, here's a quick. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just smiling that you might be have a chance to work with me and my wonderful team. So
exactly. And we have some awesome examples of recent brand transformations before and afters that we'll let the work do the talking, but we think they're pretty special and pretty awesome. Here's the quick hitter for you, Michaela, from Dean. What background color is most used for luxury, white or black?
Both. We need contrast.
Yep. Okay. Next one. I think this is okay from Lana. Should I combine my website brand with Google My Business brand? And I think I'm interpreting that as when you are setting up your Google Business profile, you can put your logo or your branding on your profile. If that is the question, the answer is definitely yes. Yes, yes, yes. We want consistency across all channels, right? And one of the ways we do that, everywhere someone goes, they see the same logo brand, they start to build a little bit of trust, they start to get a little bit more acclimated to your brand and who you are. Okay, next one, we have a couple more minutes. What is the best way to do digital ads and what is the best channel to do them? That is from Melva. I can take the first part of that. So boiling down to, I think it does matter what your budget is, what market you're in, and what you're trying to accomplish. So the two most popular channels are going to be Google PPC ads, where someone searches in homes for sale in Santa Monica and your ads will show up at the top of the page. Those Google ads tend to be slightly more expensive because they have higher intent. You also have the Facebook and Instagram side of things. The beauty of that is you can geo target or geolocate. So you can only serve ads in a very specific area or zip code that you want to show them. Ads tend to be a little bit cheaper, but you might get clicks, as we're scrolling through Facebook feeds. Oh, wow, look at this beautiful house. I'm going to click on it. They might not necessarily be ready to buy, but you will see the leads be about 50 to 75% cheaper because of that. So, digital ads are a beast. We've definitely done some recent webinars on them. And if you guys visit our website, you can kind of watch on our senior manager of paid walks through some pretty good examples and what to do for agents. We are at time, and there's one last question. So there is what CRM would you recommend to work best with Luxury Presence? There are some other website developers that are now offering their own CRM. So Dean, that is a great question. Luxury Presence's platform does connect through almost all major CRMs through Zapier. So it's an integration. You have your two systems talking. I would say the kind of the closest CRM partner that directly integrates with us is Follow Up Boss. So I think that's a pretty well-known CRM in the real estate industry. We have a very good relationship and a good partnership with them. All of our data flows very nicely between the two systems. But like I mentioned, we do have Zapier to integrate any systems that basically almost any CRM under the sun. Okay, great. And with that, actually, sorry, we have one more question, Andrea, sorry, Michaela, I think you'll like this one. Is there any additional training for social media? And what I think this means is kind of ideas for organic posts. When should we be posting? How often? What would you recommend for any agents on the call who want to kind of ramp up their social media game?
So just very recently, we've released, and we are so Luxury Presence, and my team is releasing a lot of useful guides on our social media, and also through our blog posts. So that might be a great way of where you can find those content ideas, and just some insights about posting times, what are the best platforms to post on when, and how to ramp up that content. So I think that would be the easiest, because we are putting a lot of effort to just help share those insights that we have.
Totally. Okay, this is the last question. Laura Lee, sorry I missed this on the first go around. It's related to email signatures, Michaela. So what would you recommend for creating or getting like a really nice email signature for the whole team? Right now, Laura Lee's signature isn't kind of balancing with Luxury Presence. So recommendations for email signatures, and then we'll cut it there.
Sure. So what I've used in the past is actually HubSpot. So they have this email signature builder, which is very easy to use. It will help you create consistent. It can help you, build signatures for your whole team. You can add your logo there. They have some personalizes, like you can personalize it easily. So this is one that I was using consistently. Brendan just pasted the link.
I've used it plenty of times as well.
That I think is really easy to use, and that's one that I like from like the free options that are out there.
Agreed. Good call. Because it also takes away the need for like using CSS or customization. Very much user friendly, drag and drop. Okay, awesome. Yes, we talked about a lot today. We'll include all of these links in our follow-up email. We definitely appreciate you guys joining us today. And Michaela, thank you for dropping some amazing knowledge in regards to branding.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys soon.